invocation session is now called to order. At this time, we look to our city's manager to call for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, the invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Commissioner Tompkins.
Understand.
Stand. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we're here to see another day. We thank you for the beautiful weather that we have outside. But Father, we ask you to guide us as we go about the city's business. Give us wisdom, give us unity, give our community unity, give us peace, and let us be wise stewards of the money that you've entrusted this city with. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to thank our Commissioner Tompkins for leading us in the pledge and giving the invocation. At this time, before we move into reading of the decorum, I just wanted to find out, do we have any guests tonight?
There are no guests tonight.
No guests tonight. Okay. With that, then we will look to our travel training schedule and our requests.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have travel and training scheduled for this month. We will have the GMA newly elected officials training for our new elected officials at the end of the month.
Very good.
If there are no questions there, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the planning and information session.
Certainly.
Mr. Mayor, the vision and mission remain the same. Mr. Mayor, we still remain in the midterm, still updating our policies and procedures. As you know, during a retreat, that's the time frame that we will conduct a formal updating of the policies and procedures, mainly the charter. Still working on the workforce. Our major technology and automation upgrades are almost complete. They should be finalized by the end of this month. Still working on the infrastructure needs as far as facilities, roads, water, and sewer. And a long-term financial plan, which you will get a briefing at the retreat in April. You should receive your budget books at the first meeting in April for your review. Then, of course, maintain constant and dependable city operations. With that, Mr. Mayor, we will move into the discussion items, starting with bids by the procurement officer, Ms. Jackson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Ms. Jackson.
Purchasing has one item before you this evening. It is for a bid that we had out for our CDBG engineering services. We are in need of infrastructure improvements, including but limited to water, sewer, street paving, and other drainage issues. The city does intend to apply for the CDBG or Community Development Block Grant and other grants with assistance from the Southern Regional Commission or SGRC. We actually received 6 proposals for this project, and of those 6 proposals, the best bid came from ESG Engineering of Macon, Georgia, at a cost of, it wasn't a hard cost, but we don't know what those projects are going to cost yet, because the grant is going to determine what we can get and what we can't get. But of that project, when those projects begin, their cost will be 8% of that project, of that total project. We're asking that the commission approve this so that we can move forward with awarding this grant to, the project to an engineer, so we can be prepared to start the projects.
Good. I'll open the floor for conversations with the districts and also allow for them to ask any questions or give any comments they may have. And we'll start with District 1.
So I'm good, sir.
Okay. And would you consent?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And District 2?
Just a quick question. So, Ms. Jackson, you're saying based on the percentage that their fees are going to come off, that they had the better bid?
Yes, sir. Of the projects, we asked everybody to give us what their cost would be, and they gave us a cost of what they would take a percentage of the total cost
Yes.
of the project, and theirs came in at the best one.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. We have Districts 1 and 2 consenting, District 3,
No questions, and yes, sir.
and we have District 3 consenting. District 4,
I do have one question. Who did the overall scoring?
The overall scoring was conducted by myself.
Okay.
I am the purchasing manager, Mark Hawkins, who is the community improvement director, and Ms. Dawn Strickland, who is our engineer administrative assistant.
Okay. That is the only question, and I'll consent.
we have District 4 consenting, and now District 5.
No question, Mr. Mayor. I consent.
And we have a unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Mayor, for a point of information, if I may. Just because I know we have questions about our overall bid process, and I'll make sure the new commissioners get that bid process. One thing that does not occur, I'm not present for the bid process. It is publicized in the paper for all those who want to bid on it, and that's an official action done in full transparency. And then once the procurement officer, she stated, she kind of oversees the process. I know there's some questions about there about so no money is changed at that time, and it's just the scope and scale of the project, and then we kind of go from there. I know we got a lot of theories out there about how that's done, but we'll probably need to follow up after the retreat, just a formal process so our residents understand how that process works.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. With that, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into the police department. They're going to start with the Unison co-responder program, and then they'll move into vehicle purchases.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission.
Chief?
First is more kind of a, just for your information type thing. We're about to implement a co-responder program at the police department. That's where Unison Behavioral Health, through a grant, is going to supply somebody to be at the police department, maintain an office at the police department Monday through Friday, right, from 8 to 5. And how that helps us out is if we encounter a scenario out on the street, whether it's suicidal threat, somebody with mental health conditions that need help, or in some sort of crisis, we have that tool available to us right there at the time, where that person, the co-responder, can be transported from the police department to the scene to help de-escalate the situation based on their training and their knowledge and their abilities to connect us on the scene with the resources that we need to get that individual help in an immediate, pretty much an immediate fashion. When we encounter people out on the street right now, and I've spoken about it before, if we encounter somebody with a mental health crisis, really the only way that we can give them any assistance whatsoever as far as an involuntary transport to get some help is they have to commit a penal offense first. So they have to commit a crime. And if we don't have that crime, then there's really nothing that we can do. And so, but having that resource available to us right there on the scene, that can, and one of the ways is, I say they have to commit a penal offense. The only other way that we can do an involuntary transport if a doctor has signed the necessary paperwork on it. And normally whenever we encounter that, it's because somebody's already at the hospital and the paperwork's already been signed, and then that person leaves the hospital. And then sometimes we're called to go out and try to locate them and do a transport back. But that's going to be a great thing for us. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, anybody that's in law enforcement right now knows the process is not very efficient as far as getting all the resources together and get somebody that's in that crisis the help they need. But this is going to really help and is really going to be very beneficial to us. There's no expense to the city. I did forward a copy. It's more or less, more reads like a memorandum of understanding that I'll defer to the attorneys on whether that needs to be signed by the mayor or Mr. Rayford or not. But the agreement in itself is more HIPAA related, and there is no, not a contract in a sense where there's any obligation on the city's part outside of protecting that HIPAA type information. So, if there's any questions on that?
That was a great idea.
I do too. Good idea.
I'll start with districts so they can give an opportunity to talk with you, and I'll start with District 1.
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
District 2?
Just a quick comment. Chief, I think this is an excellent idea. I witnessed an incident with a young man across the street from the church about 6 weeks ago. Your officers came out and did a good job, but if this person with unison had been there, would have helped with the situation. Good, excellent idea. Thank you, sir.
My question would be, what about the liability for the unison worker? Because they will be in contact that could possibly cause an issue of liability. Would it be the city or would unison absorb that liability?
So before they come to work with us, there actually is a liability form that we already have in place, releasing the city of Waycross, the police department, all employees from any liability. Pretty much, they're accepting the any risks that are associated with the position.
But it is a wonderful idea. That's an issue we have nationwide with mental health colliding with the judicial system. And I think this is the best approach, having hands-on somebody to evaluate the situation and determine if it's a mental health issue or a criminal issue. So,
well, I appreciate you
awesome.
saying that about termination, whether it's a crime or not, because sometimes that's where we get kind of stuck in the middle. We know a crime's been committed, but we don't necessarily believe that an arrest is the best, scenario. So usually how it happens, if there is a penal offense that has occurred, and we do an involuntary transport to the hospital. After we get them to the hospital, we normally just don't press any charges. And we don't pursue charges after that because we understand the context of what's going on. But it's my understanding that that co-responder that we'll have available to us, they're in a position to be able to get one of those, we call them a 1013, but one of those doctor committal forms can help expedite that scenario just a little bit quicker.
thank you, Chief.
And District 4?
I kind of echo everybody else. I think it's going to be a good plan. Because you and I have spoke, we've had some situations where mental health does come into play with some issues. My question is going to be, if let's say they are unhoused, is Unison going to be able to help them in that respect or refer them to other agencies? I mean, I understand it may be a mental health issue, but are they going to be able to refer them further? Or do
Yes.
you know?
Well, a conversation we had the other day, I can't necessarily speak to somebody that's unhoused per se, unless maybe they fall under that, a mental health crisis type scenario. But we even talked about doing involuntary transports and stuff out to St. Isla, people that may need that sort of treatment like that. So that's going to be positive.
Okay. Any further questions?
No.
And District 5?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. And I wanted to take my side of that question and look to the attorney to find out about the MOU question that you had just a few moments ago. Is there a comment that you can make along those lines, or no, not this time?
Actually, I haven't seen that MOU yet. I'd like to take a look at it and determine whether or not the mayor needs to sign it or the city manager.
Okay, sounds good.
And my apologies, I only sent that to Ms. Green. So.
I'm just filling in for her.
Yes.
We'll look at it.
Thank you, Chief. And now you have vehicles.
Yeah, so something we've discussed about is part of SPLOS, and I'll let Greg fill in most of this, but I just wanted to give some of the numbers and some of the age of the fleet that we're dealing with right now that we're trying to replace. About a third of our vehicles are over a decade old. And so we got a bad aging fleet with 7 vehicles being 12 years old, 1 vehicle being 13 years old, and 2 vehicles being 14 years old, and 10 vehicles being 10 years old. And some of these are in such a dilapidated state right now, they're sitting out the garage or needing motors or needing transmissions, and we're trying to hold off on it we don't want to put money in the motor vehicles if we can get, kind of get this approved. And so, I guess I'll let Greg take over at this point.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. For the vehicles, 6 vehicles for the police department is what we're talking about, and the funds are already on hand. It's from SPLOST, and just to remind everybody what SPLOST stands for: Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and there's a budget for that. And like I said, the money's already here. You know, when we pay sales tax, businesses send their money to state of Georgia, and then they turn around monthly and send us a payment, and then we keep that in the bank. We're looking at Enterprise, and we've used them before. And you know, you think about Enterprise as a rental company, but we've also used them for straight out purchases, and that's what we intend to do now. We do not have a contract with Enterprise saying we have to use them every time. It's on a case by case basis, contract by contract basis. But what we like about them is the contacts and connections they have with manufacturers and dealerships. So we look at them, but like I say, we're not obligated. We don't have to use them. We want the best price, no matter where it comes from. But they've been good at finding good prices for us. That's all I have.
I know we had some conversation around fleet purchases for the city. And multiple times we've had conversations around vehicles such as for the police department. And earlier, I think just before COVID, we had some form of an agreement that did not pan out as well as we thought it would have.
Right.
So we were with Enterprise at that particular juncture, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So it seems like we're hanging in there, but that's a need now for these vehicles to be either changed or new purchases need to be made. But Chief, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I'll just echo on Mr. Mayor. So y'all did get the briefing on the Enterprise a few minutes ago. So one thing, I'll say this first, we want to thank our residents, because without the SPLOST and also the ARPA, we could not have got the fleet back to where it is now. I know Chief has concerns, but pretty much right now we were able to complete the fire department, community improvement, some vehicles here, and most of the public works outside of those big vehicles, that's going to take some time to get. But they're about 75% complete. Again, thanks to ARPA purchases early on, which we did get some police cars with as well, and then with the ongoing SPLOST. So right now we're actually ahead of schedule, and by doing this with these 6 cars, it's going to give us the ability to kind of get ahead of the curve per se, like they mentioned in their briefing. We get these 6 cars, and then we can start flipping the other cars. Hopefully, I want to say the next budget cycle, and we'll catch up that way. And then by next year, we should have a positive impact on the police force vehicles. So this is going to be a great tool. Like you just mentioned, it wasn't working before because we couldn't get the cars in time. We can get the cars now pretty much on time. And I want to say they are fully equipped, maybe? Yes, sir. Yeah, so they'll be fully equipped. So it won't be like you get the car, then the radio, then the other package, and then this and then that, and it takes a year. So we'll get them fully ready to go day one. So this is going to be a good thing for us, because it's going to actually lessen the burden of SPLOST, and we can probably move that around to other priorities. But like I say, probably this time next year, we should have that fleet turnover as well. And then the only thing we'll have left as far as the fleet for the city is going to be some of those big public works vehicles that we kind of been talking about, but with the extra bit of money, we should be able to go ahead and purchase those as well.
Now, what fiscal year will we utilize for the SPLOST?
This is the 2023 SPLOST.
Okay.
We've been collecting. And as Greg kind of mentioned, we did already collect the money for some of the major projects, the overpass. That money's been already set to the side. We had other projects that we set to the side. And I know the new commissioner, I just thought about it, was not here when we initially had that plan to do the dirt roads a month and certain vehicles every month and flip over each month. And I'll make sure that they get that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Mayor, this is going to require, needs to be on the agenda, so we're going to need some concession for that, because we want to vote on that for tomorrow for this purchase.
So we need a consent for
Yes.
the purchases. All right, I'll go down the district lines. District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes, sir.
District 4,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have a unanimous consent for purchase. for tomorrow's agenda.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into a request for change of date of the work session and commission meeting for March 17th to March 16th and 17th. The commission will be traveling at that time, so we're asking right now to select some alternate dates, either being the 9th and the 10th, or the 23rd and the 24th.
Okay. So what I'll do, with that being said, we'll just kind of look around to see what they can do. I'm sure they're going to be making that decision in just a moment. What would be better, the first of the month or the end of the month is the question.
Doesn't matter with me.
So we'll have that first meeting, the first part of the month. And
A
then,
normal meeting.
The normal meeting.
But
And
then
the next meeting would have been the 16th and 17th, but we'll be, we're traveling. So we
Right.
could do it right back-to-back weeks, or just have the meeting at the end of the month would be the 23rd and 24th.
Okay. So either way, it's going to be a back-to-back. It would have been a back-to-back if you do I got what I'm saying now. The first part of the month would be for back-to-back, but the end of the month, it would just mean that they have a space between the time frame, being
Correct.
that they would have been out the week prior. Okay. So I'll put it before the commission and let them decide what they desire to do on that time frame. And there are two dates. There's an A and a B. The A would be the 9th and the 10th, and if I'm not mistaken, the B would be the 23rd
3rd and 24th.
and 24th. Okay. And I'll bring it for you like that. All right. District 1, A or B?
I'll go with B, sir.
District 2,
B's fine also.
B. And District 3.
B.
And District 4,
B.
and District 5.
C, B.
Unanimous B.
All right,
So it will be the 23rd and the 24th.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, Mr. Mayor, next, we're going to have our GIC team come up and give a presentation for you, 7 to 10 minute presentation about what's the ongoings in housing.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening with you. My name is Ken Taft. I live on Shawnee Drive in Waycross. I am a co-chairperson of the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing team for the city of Waycross and Ware County. That committee's name is the Waycross Ware County Community Housing Initiative. And this committee is formed for the purpose of increasing the availability and suitability of affordable housing in our community. Our GIC team consists, well, first we want to share our mission. Our mission is to strengthen, grow, and positively shape the future of our community by creating affordable housing and revitalizing neighborhoods through concerted efforts, partnerships with our citizens, and leveraging our unique assets in a manner that allows our community to prosper. Our vision is in making Waycross Ware County a community where all citizens have access to safe and affordable housing to improve their quality of life, which fosters the healthy development of our families and the sustained economic vitality of Waycross Ware County. We have a diverse committee. Mr. Mayor and our city manager are members of that committee. It is a joint committee both with the city of Waycross and Ware County. So we have elected representatives from both the city and the county on this committee, as well as a variety of local citizens and other industry representatives, both from education to banking to real estate, to developers, to land bank authority representatives, behavioral health, public housing authority. A wide variety of our community is represented in this committee. The Georgia Initiative for Community Housing is a program that offers 3 years of collaboration and technical assistance related to housing and community development. Through that objective, we have a multi-pronged approach to that. So we identify the issues and needs of our community. We develop ideas and solutions. We learn about and follow best practices and resources. Ultimately, we will develop a community housing plan. Then we will implement that action plan. And all of this is coordinated through the required attendance of our committee members at twice annual retreats in which we learn these best practices. We meet with folks from DCA as well as UGA. It's a joint collaborative effort between many parties, and we have facilitators that help us utilize the benefits of this program. And I wanted to explain what those benefits are. First of all, if you're in a GIC community, you have the ability to receive or give a letter of support to a housing developer that will increase the points that they accumulate on their DCA housing applications. And that is through that LIHTC letter, that incentivizes developers to come to our community because the GIC program only accepts 5 communities per year throughout the entire state to participate in this program. So because of our community's participation, we now have developers contacting us to try to develop new housing in our city. In addition, the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, which was mentioned earlier tonight, when you're in the GIC program, normally you can only apply for those CDBG funds every other year, but there's an exemption to that if you're in the GIC program. So that entitles our community to apply annually for those funds. In addition, we get extra points on community home investment or CHIP program funds, and those CHIP funds are used to rehabilitate existing homes for folks. I wanted to give an example of some of the projects that are ongoing. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a listing of the existing LIHTC projects that exist in our community, and many of those were approved in prior times in which our community participated in the GIC program. But you can see what some of those, I've got on the right side of the screen examples of some of those LIHTC projects. Now what we want to do is identify housing needs in our community. As I'm sure will not be a surprise to many, we have a lot of vacant and blighted homes, and that's what these statistics reveal. We also have a high renter occupancy as opposed to owner occupancy compared with the national averages. We also have an annual household income, median household income of roughly $44,000 or $27,000 per individual. Yet we have housing costs, rental costs of about $900 a month is the average rent, and the average median sales price for housing in our community is $175,000. So what that basically boils down to, just to summarize, is we have aging housing, blighted housing, and substandard housing. We have a high renter demand and a low inventory. We have a lack of affordable and workforce housing options, and we have a growing demand for increased workforce housing. So I wanted to explain to folks what affordable housing is, because I know that sometimes we don't necessarily understand what that means. So affordable housing tries to create housing that represents between 20 and 80% of the area median income. So that roughly $44,000 figure that I mentioned earlier, it's trying to target folks that are between 20 and 80% of that number. And as I give the example here, a real retail worker who earns $25,000 would fall into that category, right, of needing affordable housing. Police officers at an average salary of $42,000 would fall into that. So affordable housing is really workforce housing. It houses our folks who are actually in the workforce too. So the progress that our committee has made is we, first of all, we entered the program just last year was our first year in the program. We've just begun our second year in the program. Again, it's a 3-year program, so we've got 1 more year to go after that. But already we have established a LIHTC letter application process. We've attended both the spring and fall retreats in 2025. We've approved bylaws. We've established a subcommittee structure in which we conduct our business. We have a policy and education committee, a community engagement committee, and a project review and recruitment committee. We have also participated in Swamp Fest. We had a booth there so people could learn more about what we do. But what we're most excited about in our accomplishments within our first year is that our community was already awarded by the Department of Community Affairs a LIHTC project, and I wanted to share a few details about that project. So the Vine Street Village is a 53-unit apartment complex. I've got some images and schematics there for the property, but that project was approved by the DCA and has been awarded. And looking forward to what we want to do next is we want to conduct a housing assessment or a housing survey. Our community has not had one of those in a very long time, and it's very much needed. From that housing assessment, what we will do, we will better identify the issues, the housing issues that we face, and better identify the needs so that we can then from that take solutions to help solve more of our housing problems. And Jason Rubenbauer, who is the director of the Waycross-Ware County Development Authority and also a member of our committee, has obtained the funding for that survey, and the Georgia Conservancy is already working on that housing assessment now. We also are working to award our 2026 LIHTC letter of support, and we plan to attend both our spring and fall retreats, continue our community engagement efforts, and ultimately develop a work plan for housing in our community. And finally, I just want to say thank you to the Commission for its support of this program. It is required for cities and counties to support the cost of the training that we have to attend, and we're grateful to both our Waycross City Commission and our Ware County Commission for jointly and equally sharing the responsibility for that. And at this time, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'll open the floor for discussion and questions. I had one question before they get going, and that is, what is the percentage of renters we have in the city of Waycross and Ware County?
Yes, I can go back to that. So the percentage of renter-occupied homes in Waycross is 55.8%. That's higher than the Georgia average of 51% and higher than the nation average of 38%. And the flip side to that coin is you want to know about owner occupancy as well. So roughly 44% of the housing is owner occupied, and that's consistent with the Georgia average, but it's actually lower than the national average. So we have a lower owner occupancy in Ware County than the national average.
Thank you. I'll open the floor and start with District 1. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
District 2, any questions?
I'll say when I get with Mr. Taft and ask him.
Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
And District 3?
No questions.
District 4
I have no questions.
and District 5?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
I attended last November, and I was impressed because they had the developers there, then they had the grant writers, all the funding sources, and then they had the people from the cities. They combined those three together. They met and they talked, and they left understanding the process so they can go out and do those things. My question to you is the housing assessment. will that be derived from the renter percentage versus the owner percentage? Do you know?
It will. First of all, it's a city and county wide assessment.
Okay.
So it will cover not just the city of Waycross, but the county of Ware. In addition, it will cover all aspects of housing, not just rental.
Okay.
Yep, because that's what it truly is basically an inventory of all the housing and various types that we currently have. And in addition to that, identifying, where the needs are for what we need more of, for instance.
That's the one question I had when I left. I'm glad you answered that for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And that seems to be all our questions, and thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. Mayor, we did have another presentation scheduled from Jubilee Homes, a potential investor, but they had to pull out. You do have a copy of the email they sent me and the actual photographs of the type of housing they provide. What I'm going to do, I'm going to reschedule that presentation. I don't want to speak for them. The main question they had, they need a certain amount of land space, being at least, I think it said 10 acres. Within the city, we only have those 2 areas, well, actually 3 areas with Scout Lake. So Mr. Hawkins did provide those locations to them to kind of look at. And you see their concept is mainly like village, town center type housing. So, but I'll let them come back and brief at the next meeting for you, and you get all those details at that point in time.
Very good. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the last item on the discussion. Is going to be the charter updates. This is ongoing, actually, so I don't want to say this is the end of it. This is some stats that the team has collected so far. We did break it down into teams as far as departments to go through the charter look for the changes. So some of this does overlap. So right now, when we do this charter review in April, we're going to try, that's the main portion of the retreat. We'll probably come back and do another, maybe a call meeting to finish it off. We're just not going to have enough time to go over all this. But just to start the conversation, so as far as the charter and the governance, as far as this clarification and deletion, it's about 60 plus in there. That's just where the language is either outdated, it conflicts, things of that nature. And that's mainly just on procedural type stuff that we need to kind of rectify. Administration, that's policy alignment, just some policies have changed. Some things that we no longer do or we can't do, we got to put out there. So those 2 kind of overlap, but not necessarily the same. Then finance, just some accounting things have changed over the years. We got to pull out there some definitions, some terms, and some reporting updates. It's not that many, but they are significant. So we got to change those. Public safety, this modernization, just bringing up the code and the chart up to today's topic. Zoning and development. So that numbers that says consistency updates. That's more of a commission-based decision. So I just kind of been listening to the commission talk about things they would like to do with the zoning and development reference code. So we kind of looked at that. So that number could be 20 plus or it could be 100. I don't know until y'all sit down and kind of debate how I want to go forward with that. That has a separate discussion at the retreat by itself. Enforcement penalties, 12 penalties. We've mentioned these already before about raising some of the animal fees and some of the other fees and fines associated with the code department, and then definitions. Just updating our definitions or making them simpler for our residents. So right now you're talking about close to 200 changes to the charter. Most of this is home rule. We do have a few items that I did not put on here that require legislation that you need to take up there by October. So I'm confident that between April and then maybe an additional call meeting and then a vote, you can have all that stuff ready to go by at least early August. So that's the goal right now for you take with you when you go to legislation to make those changes that require legislation input. And I'll pause there for any concerns on that slide.
I think that's a wise move because we are at a place now with the General Assembly. Several things are getting ready to start taking place that maybe cities may not want to hear about, but I'll be bringing some of that before us as well. But one concern for the commission, the citizens, and all of us, we do need to have a glossary or something in the back, like an appendix or something with the terms and those definitions being known so it'll be operational, and that we don't have mixed understandings of what a particular verb or well, I guess language means. Because most times I'll look to the city attorney and say, so would you define what this means to us? Because those terms may not mean the same thing in every locality.
Yeah, I think so, Mr. Mayor. So, like I said, definition down there, simplification. That's why I say it's 40 plus in there, because there's a lot of things that need to be simplified. I know the new commissioners have some give me some guidance already on as far as that process. So like I say, it might take 2 or 3 meetings, but once we get that done, I do see the charter shrinking a little bit. You know, we probably can lose a third of the charter as written right now, which would be a good thing. So I think less is more in this case. So we'll see how that go. But that's where we are right now, Mr. Mayor. Like I said, each directorate has its own little section they're going through right now, and during the retreat we'll kind of bring all that together, a little bit on the first day, and then the rest of it on the second day, and then we'll schedule another meeting just strictly catered to charter changes and recommendations, and then at that point, you know, it depends on the commission on what they want to go any further with the changes.
Sounds good.
Are there any additional questions, Mr. Mayor?
I'll open the floor to the commission. They may have some questions. I see eyes out looking in my direction, so I'll start with 1.
No, sir. I'm good. Thank you.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 3,
No, sir.
and District 4.
No, sir.
District 5.
No, sir, I wasn't looking this time.
So they were just looking. All right, that's good.
I will say, Mayor, Commission, if you do have a specific item you want to get changed, you can let me know as soon as possible, so we can go ahead and make sure that's on the retreat when we have the that part of the retreat. Okay, that being said, Mr. Mayor, moving to the rest of the agenda,
Yes, sir.
we're going to have 1 privilege license renewal. We have no privilege licenses. We have 1, and we have no proposed ordinances. We're going to have 3 resolutions.
Okay.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the city attorney for a report if he has one.
No report at this time, Mr. Mayor, other than the 3 resolutions that the city manager mentioned. We have those ready to go tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you.
That said, Mr. Mayor, I'm moving to my report. Our zones remain the same, Mr. Mayor. Infrastructure update. For those who might be watching this the first time, this does change daily. This is the one for today. You see where Public Works is today as far as infrastructure, traffic, building maintenance, ground maintenance, tree, flower, shrub, equipment crew, waste management, and our street sweepers. Engineering projects remain the same. With dirt street paving projects. Lee Avenue culvert is under construction. I will say, as a safety note to all residents, please do not drive in that area. We have people still driving around the construction area. Granted, the 2 business establishments that are side by side there, they are allowed to come in there and park. We have, I think it's a construction company on one side, and I'm not sure about the other business. Totally separate. But anybody else, you should not drive on top of Lee Avenue. It is collapsible right now. We're going to put some more barriers out today to hopefully help our residents understand how dangerous that can be. Water and Sewer Department doing the leaks and repairs, meter repairs, locates. Special project. I will have an update for Quarterman when it's actually going to start tomorrow's meeting. And then for the special topic this week, Mr. Mayor, I did go back from a previous work session, and I did brief the commission prior about the alcohol license. I gave the commission some options they could look into at the retreat. I will thank the community for coming down and briefing their concerns. That is very important. That's how we get it right. I will say, I asked the residents in the city to help us help them. I think we had 17 meetings on this, and it's unfortunate they missed those meetings, but we want to do a better job, make sure they have the information. So early insight and involvement was a lot better for a solution. So we're just asking that if you can't make the meetings, of course, you got your commissioner's phone numbers, emails, ways of face-to-face, all those things. But the meetings themselves, they are on YouTube, they are on Facebook for 30 days before we have to take them down. Please go back and watch those meetings. We do also provide an update of the meeting. We also have meeting notes on the website, so you can kind of go back and look at the verbatim what was said as well. That way we don't get too far ahead of something that becomes challenging to our residents later on. So we'll discuss some of the COAs, courses of action that the commission might want to take on this during the retreat. I will say, just to be fair to our residents, that you cannot make a one-for-one city comparison on anything. It's just too many factors involved in that process. And in this situation, like I said, if you looked up Savannah, Atlanta, their alcohol license fees are lower than ours as well. But of course, they have thousands and thousands of businesses that are selling alcohol, so that's not like a fair comparison, you know. So I just ask that the residents do their homework as well as we do ours to get to the proper solution. So just some feedback on that for our residents. Again, street roads are ongoing. We did get behind on some of the street work projects because of the weather. It's been up and down temperatures is kind of, you know, having an impact on the construction people, but we're going to push forward on these as soon as possible. Dirt roads are ongoing. I did ask the team to look at bidding out, hopefully to get some more bidders for dirt roads. Right now, we typically only get 2 bidders, and if they're both doing projects already, it's going to make it, if they get the project, it's going to make it even longer. So we are going to try to hopefully get some more companies to kind of come and help us out and move a little bit faster, especially on the dirt roads. Hopefully they'll see the bids and they'll help us out. And then the wastewater treatment plant phase 2 is ongoing. And again, for those who might be listening to this or watching for the first time, you can go to the city's webpage, go to the engineering department, and then scroll down to the bottom, and you can see all of the roads on the paved roads list. Now, it only shows the first 100. If you want to see the complete list of 514 roads, please reach out to my office, and we'll send that list to you as well. Again, that is not a made-up list. It's backed by GDOT utilization data as well as our robotics program to help us determine the priority of the roads. And I will say, I had a question walking in here today. So I know in the past the commission did it different ways, but if we just did a road in each commission, then the worst roads will actually get worse and it will actually cost us more money. That's why we try to do the worst roads first, regardless of what district they're in. So it's actually a math problem and not necessarily an equity problem, if that makes sense. So make sure our citizens understand that. Collaboration project, Mr. Mayor remained the same. I did speak with GDOT. I try to call them once a week about these projects to get some help, and it's still kind of all in the same phase. They are aware of the fatalities that recently happened on Corridor Z, and I did reach out to the Atlanta office about the matter as well. And then there's our blight cases. This is updated to a certain degree. Like I said, this fluctuates quite often from cases being closed and new cases being open, because every time we close a case, we open 2 more cases. And again, this is all about safety and helping the community grow. And then this was the December, actually it's supposed to be the January finance report. Mr. Mayor, there hasn't much change there. Just want to highlight again, as far as the SPLOST, we took in so far about $5 million out of the $17 million expected to collect in. Out of that number, we have about $400,000 spent of the $5.7 million appropriated for our roads and streets. We did got about $4.5 million appropriated for our vehicles. We did move the park money to the district, so the commission go ahead and start making some of those critical updates to infrastructure and park equipment for their parks individually. And then our building infrastructure, $6 million appropriated. We're actually going to get this number down a little bit. Chief Cox is working on a different solution for the proposal for the new detective location, which you'll get briefed on that during the retreat. Property taxes year to date, $3.6 million. Local sales tax year to end about $2 million now. Alcohol permits are starting to come in, so we collected about $550,000 this previous month. And again, for our workforce, and this just in general information, our first conversation about anything dealing with the city and priorities is what does your taxes service, what service does it provide, not necessarily what it's paying for. Again, 75% of our taxes paid for directly police department, fire department, public works, and support staff. And you see the numbers there. That is the service your tax is paying for. Before anything else, they're paying for that service that we must have. Make sure that's clear. And with that, Mr. Mayor, stay connected. Got multiple ways of being connected here. we're actually going to try to implement another way. Mr. Director Simmons, who's not here right now, is working on something else to make sure that our residents have multiple means to connect to the city and to their respective commissioners. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I pause for some for questions and concerns, and we do have an executive session. It's going to be on litigation.
Litigation. Okay. We'll start with District 1 if you have any concerns or questions of our city manager.
Yes, sir. I just see Mr. Hill here, but I have a question. I know you got on there Quarterman Street in pre-construction, but you know when we really gonna start? I mean, we're gonna really move forward
Yes,
with it.
I'll update you tomorrow, Commissioner.
All right.
In the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And District 2?
No, sir.
Okay. District 3?
I have a comment along the lines of us communicating with our constituents. We're in the process of reaching out. I had an opportunity this last week to meet with some of the downtown businesses. We shared some ideas. They're excited about the growth within the community. A lot of people may not see it. And in growing, it created some issues downtown with parking, but they understand that is a symptom of growing. But they appreciated the fact that a commissioner reached out and actually went to them asking for their concerns. I've talked with the city manager and some of my fellow commissioners, and we want to begin to really reach out. I know we're not going to have a last call probably tonight, so this will give me an opportunity to inform the constituents that we are really trying to engage with them and have their input on the decisions we make as a commission. And that's pretty much it.
That's very good. Thank you, Commissioner. And District 4?
Kind of a comment to, and you and I have talked about this previously, just so that everyone knows the park money is not a drop in the bucket to even pave one street. So I think a lot of people are afraid that we're spending money on the park when there's infrastructure or roads that could be done. Well, I agree. That money, and city manager can tell you, it's a very small amount. It's an amount that I'm looking to for our parks to be more inclusive. I've had some folks reach out to me for children with special needs. If you look at our playgrounds, aside from the new ones, I know the ones in District 4, we don't have any kind of activities for special needs. So there's definitely something that we're looking for. I've had folks reach out to me. All you've got to do is call me, email me, send me a message, and I'll get back to you on that. But I know the frustration with roads. We all live in Waycross. We're all well aware of the road situation. But that takes a larger scale funding. It takes time. It takes planning. You've got bids. So don't be confused in thinking that the park money is just something that we're blowing that can be used on streets. Because I'll be honest with you, it probably wouldn't even pave a 100-foot section. I mean, if you really looked at it in the grand scheme of things, I don't think a lot of folks realize the cost involved with redoing a street. Just like the culvert was what, $2 million? So that's a lot of money, and I think a lot of times it's hard for our heads to wrap around that. But really, just understand it's not that in my district I'm ignoring roads. It's just the park money is a very easy fix to update some of our parks. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. And District 5?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Before we go, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what you made mention of about property taxes. We're looking at one of the major issues that's coming up before the House.
Correct.
And the major issue is that they're trying to discontinue property taxes and even deal with the homestead exemptions. So individuals who would have normally been paying taxes on their homes, we're talking about the 44 homeowners that are actually living in their houses. We're talking about funding that will be taken away that you're talking about is useful. And so this is one of the concerns that we'll have, and I would suggest to each commissioner and to our citizens to get in touch with your representatives. Specifically, in our case, our representative is James Burchett. So we do need to say something to our people. This is House Bill number 581. That was a discussion. And then, of course, they're bringing up that's 2024, 2025, and 2026 is this year. They're talking about discontinuing everything. So they would talk about sales tax being the thing that we would use. And that could be a major issue because we don't get all of that. But just to put this in the atmosphere so the constituents and everyone will hear, so just in case something starts happening, just like you're talking about park money and various other things, it can change in the moment. All it takes is one vote, or in many cases, both the Senate and the House to vote against having these homestead exemptions as well as property taxes.
It was me about a point of clarification, so information. So consumption taxes, I think the resident need to really understand what a consumption tax is. I mean, that's we have this discussion about alcohol license that will significantly increase if we don't have another stream of revenue. I don't think everybody's understanding where the other money will come from. Great idea on the surface, but once you get to the details, it gets quite difficult to manage. That's why we've been trying to really inform our citizens where their tax dollars go. And to Commissioner Tompkins' point, even with the splash, it's mandated what we can do with it and what we can't do with it. And just our cheapest road, and our cheapest road being about 400 foot, and this is a dirt road, I'm saying, that's about $500,000. So if you can put that scale and scope about how much it really costs. And I will say, reading the comments myself this weekend, we've done close to 30 roads over the last 2.5 years. I know it's because it's not their road next to them, they can't see that. And additionally, like Ozzie Davis Memorial, all those things, those are GDOT maintained roads. And in a perfect world, we would do those first because everybody travels those more than anything else. But that's out of our authority and control span. So we focus on our major connections that we can control. So again, I think it's about information and sharing of information to make sure everybody can understand how these processes actually work.
Very good. With that, I do know we have an executive session, so I'll need to have a motion to go into executive session for litigation.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
There's a motion from Commissioner Simmons and a second from Commissioner Sanders to go into the executive session on litigation. And we'll just take a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. We have unanimous vote. We're now going into executive session. Thank you everyone for joining.